So our next speaker is Dean Gonsalves. He is Vice President Design, Robosoft Technologies Private Limited. Brief introduction about him. With over 15 years of experience in digital web and mobile design, Dean was instrumental in creating the Robosoft Design Labs. He developed the philosophy of emotional engineering and design that calibrates programmers, designers, and clients to emphasize with the human side of their end user. He believes creating apps is about crafting experiences, which is a skillful blend of form, functions, aesthetics, and usability. So I would like to welcome Mr. Dean.
Hello, hello. Yeah. Hi guys, welcome.
All with you?
Yeah, thanks. Good afternoon, and I hope you guys had a great lunch, okay? And not too sleepy. So today we're going to be covering some very beautiful topics on design, and I'm going to try and make it as interesting as possible so that you guys don't go to sleep. So I think everybody, how many designers in this room? Wow. How many product people? How many people building products? Okay, superb. So how many people have worked on user experience in some format or the other? Wow, that's interesting. Okay, so I think user experience is a much used word today, but it's kind of overused and it's kind of used too much. In fact, it's become a commodity. And people think that they'll take their app and they'll put it into UX and then they'll get marvelous stuff out of it. I want to take you down a different road, and UX does not work like that. UX is about feel, how you feel at the end of the day, right? So we at Robosoft have done over 1,500 apps, and having done that, we have done a lot of things right and a few things wrong. And we've learned that we need to feel. We need to feel. So user experience is user. The word user makes it not very personal. So I'm going to change this today, and I'm going to have a new word called human experience. Okay, the human experience is all about emotion, right? So I'm going to talk to you about emotion. I'm going to tell you how emotion is so very important for design, because if you don't design emotionally, I don't think you're going to have success in anything you do. So emotions are the heart of everything. So what are we covering today? Very quickly, what are emotions? I'm going to start by explaining emotions to you so you'll completely understand what I'm doing. Why are they important to product design? That's very important for your folks. And how do we do something very quickly that's going to help you go out and better your products? That's in part one. In part two, we're going to talk about emotion engineering. That means we're going to show you what are the techniques of engineering to create some very cool emotional joy. And we'll do Q&A in the second section, because I got a lot to cover in this first section. So very quickly, let's start with what are emotions. And emotions are often called feelings, included experiences, such as love, anger, hate, fear, sadness, joy. Everybody's familiar with that, right? But I don't think you're feeling it, because they're just words on the board, right? They're just words. So I want you guys to sit back, and I'm going to show you some images that is going to ignite, going to resonate with your feelings, right? Everything is visual with me, so there's hardly any text. And if you look at this image, you see something. What do you see? What's the feeling that comes out of this image? So you see people getting optimistic, confident, reflective. It's positive. And there's another beautiful emotion. What is this? Very easy to guess, guys. Yeah, look at that. I mean, just imagine if somebody was using your app. Wow, that's the emotion you want them to have, right? So joy, happiness. What's here? See, if you keep somebody waiting, you know, especially guys, if you keep your girlfriends waiting, they're going to have this look on their face. And this starts with resentfulness and slowly it moves into anger. So don't keep, just like if you keep somebody waiting and the wait sign on your app goes on going round and round, this is what you're guys going to get. Okay? So there's resentfulness and anger. Feel the emotion, look at the face, you know, look at that. That's very, very important. Come on, anybody can guess? Sorry? Love is a big word. Okay. Care, right. Right. Trust and care. Now sometimes when we build apps and we don't take care of the human experience, this is how people end up looking like this. You know, you got fear, you got anxiety in this look. This guy is worried, man. Confused, hesitant, don't know what to do. What about this? Huh? Pain. Yeah. Pain is visual, you know, pain is the root of everything. The pain is the most important emotion. When you start your human experience or you start your UX design, pain is everything. You need to embrace pain. Look at this man, it's very interesting. Look at his face. You know, there's a sudden loss of something. There's something that he's lost. There's a death. I don't know what, but there's something that he cannot gain back. Sadness, deep sadness. Look at this guy, he's ducking. What does the body language say? Uncertainty, scared. There are two emotions in this picture. Sorry? Reassurance. Yeah. There's hurt and grief on one side, and there's sympathy on the other side. There's empathy on the other side. Somebody is giving this to you. It would be nice, you know, if you were in his position to have somebody like that. So the best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or touched, they must be felt. And that's very true when you do mobile experiences. Right? You touch the phone, but your app touches the person's heart. So how are we going to do that? So we'll move on to why are emotions core to product design. And this part is really, really important because I'm going to talk about something called emotional embodiment. That means to become one with. Has anybody heard about a company called Xerox? You know, Xerox is not photocopy, okay? And I'm going to Xerox this paper for you, I'll Xerox that for you. Photocopy is the right word. I will photocopy. Xerox has embodied photocopying to an extent that you cannot tell the difference. It's become one. It's very, very, very powerful. So I'm going to show you a company that we work with, that we are partners with, and we learn a lot from, who has taken a product that cost in the market, that cost 5 rupees, and has sold it for 8,000. Wow, everybody wants to do that, right? So I'm going to start showing you something really interesting now. Something extremely simple. That's a pencil, right? So what does the pencil stand for? You know, all ad agency guys wearing pencils, artist pencils. What does it stand for? Sorry? Oh, bingo, man, you guys are smart. Okay, so now you got a pencil, and what I'm going to try and tell you is that this is what we work with. Inside every object, there are emotions. Believe it or not, there are emotions, and I'm going to show you how to see these emotions as we go along. This is really, really important. This is like magic. So what is the emotion inside a pencil? You got creativity, is what a pencil helps you do, but how does a pencil help you do that? What does it embody? What's the emotion? Expression. How do you express yourself? There's a primary thing that is very quite out of the blues, that nobody guesses. So I'm going to take you down this one. It's control. And control that lets you help express your thoughts. So when you hold a pencil in your hand, the first emotion that comes to you is control. And control gives you confidence, and hence you go out there and you express yourself with that. If the pencil did not give you control, you wouldn't be able to do anything. You weren't able to doodle around and create all this beautiful art, right? Especially while sitting for a client meeting, this is what we do with the help of a pencil. So this pencil has control and expression built into it. And that's if I'm going to make a pencil, if I'm going to make a better pencil, then that's the thing I'm going to embody. That's the thing. I'm going to say that, I'm going to make it out of wood, and, I'm going to make it longer or shorter. First thing I'm going to say is that it should give people control to express themselves. And that's what happens when you build a new pencil. I don't know how many people have used the Apple Pencil over here. Anybody's using the Apple Pencil? It's a phenomenal product. Okay? It's hidden away. It's not accessible, but it is a phenomenal product. And if you want to build, you use it, there's zero latency, it is marvelous. I'm telling you, I've started using the Apple Pencil a couple of months ago, and it's phenomenal. You can do all this great stuff with just intricate work. You know how difficult it is to do that, to create something like that with a digital tool, and perfectly, and to be as simple and as beautiful. So Apple embodies the emotional purpose of a pencil. Completely embodies that. And when you do that, you can take something that cost you $2 and make it how much? $100. But to reach that stage, you really, really need to understand emotions. Otherwise, you cannot design anything, you cannot build any product. If you think you're building products and you all don't understand emotions, or you're not empathetic towards pain, it's not going to work. So the emotional purposes, subconsciously and consciously, some of us are doing it consciously, but most of us are doing it subconsciously. People are looking for their purpose in their lives. And we try and look at it, we try and look for our purpose in people's, places, things around us. We're constantly, subconsciously looking for it. And when we find purpose, or somebody who has purpose, like Apple, we tend to embrace them. No matter what the cost is. So you could go from 2 to 100 because Apple has shown you this emotional purpose. And I'm going to illustrate to you, and it might look like a lot of stuff. What is this emotional purpose? Let me just show you stuff. So emotional purpose is equal to clarity, Let me take an example and explain this to you. So let me take an emotional purpose of a banking app. All of us use banking apps, right? Everybody uses a banking app or has done something with banking online. I'm just not talking about design online or app design, I'm talking about the entire garment. So, simple reason, you need to know everything about your money right now. That's the purpose of a banking app. Right? You need to, most of you all use a banking app to check your balance and maybe to transfer funds. I do not know how many of you will do it actually to make fixed deposits and do that stuff. It's not a mobility thing, right? So, the emotional purpose of a banking app should give you confidence. When you open that app, you're confident that you can see your amount, you can transact, you can pay some bills. So that brings out the emotion of confidence. And let's see what other people doing it in our industry, top banks, okay? I'm going to show you some top banks. So I've taken some examples and I've removed off the logos. I'm sorry if there's a banking guy here. Anybody in banking here? Thank God. Wow, look at this one, man. Amazing. Can anybody tell me, these are all leading banks, okay? Don't say the names. Okay, you are all using this app, these apps. So do you all find them beautiful? Do you all find them really emotionally driving? You'll find them giving you that joy, that satisfaction? Do they have an emotional purpose? I don't think so. Look at this. Right? We need to change this. I think this really gives you the emotion of this, of fear. I mean, what is that? I mean, you saw all that numbers on the screen, they're giving you menu cards and they're telling you to choose among 500 things. That's not the way to build stuff. You want to build stuff that gives you an emotion like this. Does it give you an emotion like this? I don't think so. A million miles away from there. So let me take one of these apps and show you how we can change it, right? Look at this. This has a menu system that's up front and you really don't know. What you need to know is your balance. Where is my balance? How much of money do I have? Does that do that? I don't think so. There's no emotional connect. Look at the color, look at the font. So what do? Can we do something clean and neat? I'm saying simple. Just put your balance up front. Okay? Tell you what you need to pay below. So what I have, what I owe, that's your bills, your Vodafone bills, your electricity bills, your gas bills, right? And below that, give you a spending expenditure and give you less important things a little later, but very beautifully done. This is another banking website I have taken and I put it up. This is what you have. Anybody knows this bank? Anybody banks with this bank? Thank God. So how do we change this? This is terrible. Can we do something to this? Yes, we can. So similarly, with an emotional purpose, I'm saying what you have, what you owe and what you have saved. That gives you the confidence. That gives you the confidence to say, okay, man, I have this much in my bank account. Okay, I have these many bills and my savings are that much. I don't think any bank does this up front. And then below that you have frequently done tasks, money transfer, utility bill, and maximum you will do on a thing is open a fixed deposit, right? And some great offers. And you can take this beautiful experience and not just limit it to the phone or to the website, but take it across, right down to the watch, with that same emotional experience of confidence pulling you on. So if you're going to build something beautiful, you need to start with deciding what emotions you want to deal with and stick them on a wall. You know, when you're building your feature list, take pictures. Don't say, you know, I want joy, I want joy. You want to be able to relate to joy. Take pictures and put them on the wall and stick to them. And then tell me, whenever you're taking a feature list, you know, look at the feature and say, is that feature going to do this or is that feature going to do that? Right? Is it going to do this or is it going to do that? And that's so very important. Because if you do not understand this, then we're going to put features over features and then we're going to have the side menu drawers and we're going to put everything out there. There's a big difference between abundance, you know, and choices. We tend to give people choices. Choices tend to confuse people. Like a mango tree, just to explain this concept, and this is an apple-driven concept, abundance is like a mango tree. It just gives you mangoes. And it gives you see the mango tree in full bloom, right? Giving you immense amount of stuff. A mango tree doesn't give you a little bit of grapes and oranges and, you know, this and that, and leads you to confusion. So abundance versus confusion in feature list, please keep that in mind. So moving very quickly on to the next part is how do we build emotions in products? How do we build it? Now that we know what our emotions are all about, we know why they are important, but how do we build into products? So we are going to open up from the design labs. Robosoft Design Labs has 2 proprietary tools that we use, and they're called the EQ and the touchpoint journeys, the experience maps. This stuff, I think this is the first session publicly we're actually talking about our own proprietary tools. And we're opening it up to the general public. So the EQ is a very interesting topic, dissecting emotions in an object. Can anybody tell me what are the emotions in this? The pencil had control. What does the assault rifle have? You know, fear? Perfect. What else? Fantastic. Sorry? Anger. Yep. See, you know, because I want to talk to you about, you know, when you identify emotions, I'm going to show you how it goes into all your collaterals, how it affects your marketing, how it affects your branding, how it affects everything. And a gun is a very interesting thing because it's used quite often today, unfortunately. There is very deep emotion and it resides within the gun. And one side is aggression, and the other side is fear. Now you'll say, oh, that sounds simple. But you require aggression to pick up that gun, and then only can you generate fear. If you do not have aggression, and I pick up that gun and I point it at you, you think it's a toy gun. Right? What happens if somebody walks into this room and starts shooting you, and you start laughing? You're dying, but you're laughing. He's going to go back to his gun manufacturer and tell them, look man, this is not working. It's killing people, but it's not giving me the satisfaction. Because even a terrorist is doing that for a certain satisfaction at the end of the day. So aggression on one side, that means that you pick it up, put it over here, point it to you, and then I'll generate fear. Otherwise it's going to become, if I remove the emotion out, it becomes a walking stick. Yeah. So when you get into deciding that you've got aggression and fear as emotions with you, then all your fonts, the way you put the color, the way you do your typography, the way you do your visual imagery will all resonate with aggression and fear. Right? You won't use a pink color, you know, to talk about guns. Right? You won't use a nice flowery font and say, this is my gun. No. This is your product. So if you know the emotions within your product, then you don't have to debate with your ad agency and your designers how the color or the texture or the font or whatever, the tone of voice. Because if you don't know the emotions, then we make mistakes. Then instead of using, you know, then we start debating on what's the difference between blue and red. you know, sometimes the client says, no, I like blue, Dean, you know, give me blue color. I said, but why? Because my wife likes it. I said, right, there has to be a logic behind it, right? How do you decide between orange and red tomorrow? They're very similar colors. But if you know the emotion, then you're sure of what color you're going to choose. So when you start a company and thinking of a name, also think about your emotions your company is going to deliver. And you'll find color, you'll find your font, and everybody can become a designer then. I might lose my job. So if you take away the emotional purpose, the emotion, the purpose to exist also disappears. Very quickly, I'm going to give you all one more chance. Wow, I'm doing all these guns and knives, you know. I'm very fond of them. So anybody can guess the EQ in this knife? Revenge, wow, who's that? Anybody can guess it? Don't guess, try and reason. Okay, what does a knife do? Is a knife, what is a knife? Sharp object that cuts. It's a hunting knife. I mean, is it looking really that bad? So I think a knife, a hunting knife, is a weapon, yes. But beyond a weapon, I think 90% of the time, it's a tool. Right? Most of the times, if you are using a hunting knife and you're in the wilderness, you will use to cut it, to cleave something out, you know, things like that. So it's a tool. So when you use a tool, how does the tool need to feel? Strong, robust. Emotion. Control, I like that. Comfortable. You hit it. The knife has a bipolar emotion in this, and we have gone and spoken to knife manufacturers. We have done research into this, and the knife is about comfort. The handle. Do you know that the knife, when people build knives, Buck is a very renowned manufacturer and designer of knives, and they came over to our office and did a knife show for us. The blade is designed by one designer and the knife is designed by somebody else. Because the blade, the designer can only understand aggression. Because even to cut a tomato, if you need aggression. If you don't use aggression, you aren't able to cut through anything. And if the handle is not comfortable, you aren't able to do anything with a knife. And when you're in battle and the knife slips from your hand, you are finished. So today, knife manufacturers take a lot of time to design a handle so that it doesn't slip from your hand. In fact, it becomes an extension of your hand. The way you grip it, there are certain grips that the knife cannot be taken out from your hand. So you cannot be disarmed. Those knives are extremely dangerous. But yes, comfort and aggression. Right? So you all got this part of it, kind of. Now let's move to something closer to home. BlackBerry. How many of you guys use a BlackBerry? Okay, great. Super. So, when you look at a BlackBerry, and it's a business phone, and serious, sophisticated users will use it. Very predictable, little bit of aggressive guys. It's always been a business phone, cutting edge, right? Kind of. And then somebody came along and took the exact opposite of the BlackBerry from an emotional purpose. And that's Apple. And if you break down the emotions in an iPhone, you will find it in polarity to what the BlackBerry is. One side is serious, the other side is relaxed. And this is how the iPhone is designed. Okay, this is how Steve really worked on this. Playful. One side is elegant, and the other side is confident. Look at that aggression, confidence, predictable, elegant, playful. And you know the thing about these emotions, if you look at serious, sophisticated, predictable, aggressive, they are kind of negative emotions. But there is no good and bad, okay? Negative and positive in the world of emotions are just negative and positive. There's no good or bad. But to keep serious, sophisticated aggression on for a lot of time, you require a lot of energy. And you require to innovate at a very, very fast rate. But to be relaxed and playful is something we always want to do. And that's what the iPhone has built into them. So when you understand the EQ of your product, it gives you a whole new perspective on your feature list. So if you think your product is playful, happy, then the way you design it, as I said, the way the colors you choose, the fonts you choose, and most important, the features that you choose will all go for being playful and happy and not serious. So it's a great filter. Just by saying, I know the EQ of my product. My EQ of my product is fear, then you know what to do. If my EQ of my product is joy, then you know what to do. You don't need to go and, and then you take your features and you put it against joy and say, oh, is this working for me? Yes or no? So out of 10 features, I bet you can come down to 3. And with reason. And with reason. I'm going to show you one more product. And this is because when you look at products with high EQ, that means high emotional quotient, they are beautiful. They're extremely beautiful. And the entire experience that you have is wow. You want to own it. You have a desire that invokes inside you. I'm going to show you something very interesting now. It's a USB connector. I'm taking small things. Just look at that. How many of you guys find this beautiful? It's got high EQ, man. Okay? And Apple came along and designed a USB connector, Ethernet USB connector, as beautiful as this. And when you have this, sometimes you room it out in front of your clients or in front of your colleagues. It's so beautiful, just to have, just to own. Imagine the difference. You can see the visual difference, right? High EQ and low EQ. That means if you are so that sensitive to my client's emotions, I will design something like that. I will not design something like this. Just being sensitive, just finding those emotions. No UX can help you. You need to find the emotions, and that will drive everything else. I'm going to take you through something else. Our next tool is called Experience Map. It's the emotional flow of a user. And you can do this, a lot of people do this, but you can do this on your way to work, on your own journeys. It's a very interesting tool. You can start doing it just with a pencil and paper. Experience maps are what people are thinking, feeling, and doing during a journey. That means, when you left your house today, what happened? Today morning, was it raining? If it was raining, did you get into a bus or a cab? How was your feeling then? What was your emotion then? Do you know how you felt? Was it anger? Was it frustration? And then when you came here, you found a long queue, and then you got inside, and the speaker started speaking, and and it went up a little bit, and then you had lunch, and there was a lot of joy there. So that's a map, that's a flow, right? So all you need to do is plot a user's journey through your product. He gets up in the morning, he picks up that product, he holds it in his hand. How does he feel? What is he thinking at that point of time? For example, I'm taking a food ordering app. So when you decide to order food, what's your feeling? Hungry? Excited? So you're cheerful, you're excited, right? I want to order food from out. Come on guys, let's pick up the app. And I'm taking a mobile example, right? Cheerful? You pick up the app, and then you go straight away down because it gives you straight away, you know, we all like to show our users, as we call, instead of users, we should be using human. We want to show our users all these options, you know, biryani, this, that, you know, Calcutta's amazing food, and you want to combine all of that and show it to him. Choices. And as soon as he gets the choice, he's confused. And you think you're doing a very good job, but he is confused. He's terribly confused. So you need to know that, you know, you need to boil your features down and remove off that feeling of confusion. And automatic discount can give you joy. It's a great liberation. And then after that, he's got his automatic discount, he has to go to pay online. And we have, you know, fantastic paying options we have that you go to click this and it goes to your bank site and net banking, and some of the wallets are doing fantastically well. But you get anxious over there. So if you don't understand the emotions, you'll say, okay, payment online is going to third party, I don't have to worry about it, third party will take care of it. That doesn't work, right? Every bit of it is important. And I want to jump straight down to bag packaging. Suppose the food you ordered went through the whole cycle and everything, and it came home and it was packaged badly. It's sheer disappointment. The food is cold. You know, when you're doing a mobile product, you're not doing a mobile product. It's not just one experience. It's the entire experience. That means some of the experiences, the experience map can tell you that as a designer, or your engineers or your IT people can help you do number 1, number 2, number 3, but bag packaging is an offline thing. So even if you bring this graph up and you have bad packaging, you're done. So oftentimes I tell my clients that, you know what, I can definitely help you with features for choosing multiple options and reduce the options there and bring clarity to that aspect. Anxiousness, I can take away online payment and do a wallet for you very seamlessly, but I can't change bad packaging. That's something you need to change, because we're a digital agency. You need to go out there and do it on an offline front. Clear? Have you got the experience map? So you can sketch this out. Get into a huddle and just draw this beautiful experience map up. And put emotions to it. Just don't draw it there and say, okay, you know, choosing this, why is it going down? Put the emotions at the points. So to end with, I'm going to show you something really nice. So what is this girl doing? You do this, he's doing it right now. Yeah, he's texting, man. And that texting app is what? What are you using to text? There you go. Right? So WhatsApp has embodied messaging. Messaging wasn't new. Come on, yeah, messaging was right down from SMS, but somebody came along, made it cross-platform, made it seamless, and embodied it. So today, you know, I'll WhatsApp this to you. They own the realm. And boredom? Can you tell me which app, which product has capitalized on, I'm bored of my relationship, I want to change it? Who said that? Who's shouting that? Good one, that means we know what you're using. Yes, it's Tinder, man. They've embodied it. So somebody uses the word Tinder, I'll Tinder a fire, and suddenly you'll think of Tinder as an app, as a dating app. You won't think. Tinder has gone out of your memory now. It has been wiped off. The word Tinder means something else, right? That's how strong Tinder is. Tinder is not just an app, dating app, and right click and left click, but this is really, really, really important to understand that they are successful because they've embodied the emotion. While we in India think they're successful because, you know, we'll do the same design, we'll copy them, we'll create a marriage app that looks the same, we'll change the concept. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. You need to understand that they are embodying emotion. They're doing something on a different paradigm. And what happens when you lose your job? Huh? Jobs.com? No, you don't go to jobs.com, do you? Yeah. If you look at this pattern, it's really interesting. Now I want to show you something nice. This is the future, okay? This is the future. This man is completely depressed. You know, he's come to the end. I'm creating a scenario with a picture. He's come to the end of the road. He has nobody in his life to talk to. There's nobody. Everybody's gone out of his life. This is the end. He has nobody to share with. There's no sympathy. There's no empathy. There's no girlfriend. There's no wife. There's no children. There's just yourself. And what? And your phone. And she starts talking to him, right? And says, "Hey James, what's the matter?" And he says, "I'm finished. I'm finished." And the voice from the phone talks back to him and says, "Nothing is finished as long as I am here. Now tell me all about it. Now tell me all about it." And that's Siri for you. That's how powerful Siri is going to happen. And you all guys think, okay, Siri is an app on the iPhone, you know, and it's built in the iPhone, and we don't want to talk to our phones. But Siri is going to become your next OS, undoubtedly. It is going to be talking, the next version of Siri. They have spent a lot of time, Apple has spent a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of money just building emotions. Google cannot touch Apple, not because Apple has great algorithms. Google writes algorithms that are mind-blowing. Right? Google does everything when it comes to code mind-blowing. What Apple does, it takes the emotion out and it does mind-blowing emotional algorithms. And hence, it's ahead of the game. Siri is going to be extremely powerful. It's going to talk to you. Do you know that there are kids 14 to 18 in the United States of America who talk to Siri today? Just because they are bored. They don't know what to do with their time. They're talking to Siri. We didn't know that. Hello? They're talking to Siri. And go, and if you have an iPhone and you have Siri, and say, "Hey Siri," and talk to her. You know, says, "Siri, I love you." Say that to Siri and see what Siri says back to you. Siri will give you an answer. So to end with, as we go along, and as we go moving past this year into the next year, please understand that the world is going to build, you know, technology is going to build stuff that connects to you, not like how technology does today, but it's going to emotionally resonate with you. You're going to be emotionally attached to it. And these are the companies that are going to have the most success. These are the apps that are going to have the most success. And you know, we do these workshops, and it takes you an entire day to understand this. And I've tried and compressed it into a smaller workshop and a smaller talk today. But I hope you'll understand that you need to get emotionally connected to your products. I mean, that's the way you build a product. Steve was crazy, man. Steve was crazy when he built the iPhone. It was tremendous. You know what he did? He took a phone. You know how he innovated? He took a phone and he took a GPS and he put them together. And nobody could beat him down. Then Samsung and everybody else got up, and Android got up and said, "Oh my God, what is Steve doing?" And today, everything works on GPS. Everything works on GPS. You cannot think of a phone without a GPS. Then it is not a smartphone. He's defined smartness for you. Redefined smartness for you. And that's the power, and he was very, very emotionally connected to everything he did. He used to say, tell me the emotions in it. The Apple machine was the first machine that had beautiful fonts. He threw out half his team because they could not understand the emotions fonts brings to them. How many of us pay attention to fonts in our apps that we build? Do you all say, why is this font there? Is it going to ignite a response? Apple has created its own font called San Francisco that is built in it. It's extremely powerful. It's dynamic in nature. I don't think most people in the industry are doing something like that. So before I get carried away, let me summarize. First thing, emotions are the core of all human experiences. Okay, they are the core. Second thing is, practice by dissecting the EQ. As I've told you, I've given you very simple examples. Go out today, if somebody is having a beer, look at the beer glass and dissect the emotion of the beer glass, and then dissect the emotion of the beer inside the beer glass. And write it down on a tissue paper. Right? If you're drinking from a cup of coffee, if you're having a cup of coffee, look at the design of the coffee mug. See, does it have a high EQ? Does it have a low EQ? Is there something resonating between you and the coffee mug? If it's yes, then dissect it. If it's no, then just forget about it. Every small thing out there that looks beautiful is something you need to dissect. And when you find the emotion, so your own products, when you do the EQ, and it's not going to happen in a day, you need to sit down for a week and put this in front of you. And when you find that, oh my gosh, there is actually, in my product there's actually fear and comfort, then don't run away from it. Embrace it. Make that your decision-making engine. Make that your filter that you put anything through. Your features, your color, your font, your entire life should be based on that. And I'll go to an extent of, we are all our emotional people. We are a bundle of emotions, but we tend to hinge towards certain types of emotions. So try and look at your own self. So the EQ can not only be taken into design, but it has to be taken into your own lives. And that's what makes design philosophy extremely strong for companies like Apple. So you don't need to apply it to design. It's only one principle, the final principle. Right? And let emotions, let your heart always decide the feature list and the design. Let them, after finding emotions, as I said, after you embody them and embrace them, let them be the decision-making tool for you. So that's what UX is all about. Not putting users into a testing room and then telling them how to operate your app. Right? I don't believe in user testing. Neither does big companies do. Neither does Apple do. Google did color blue and send out an algorithm, and they came back with 1,200 options of color blue. They could never decide on blue. Right? Google blue. And they dropped it after that. So they stopped doing it. Things, we have decided that, you can't take numbers, put them in, crunch them in, get data out of that. Data is data. Meaningful data is emotions coming out of that data. So thank you, everyone. I hope this helped you. I hope it's not a difficult one.
No. In fact, it is a very simple thing. In fact, I would like to ask the question. Basically, nothing to do with the computer screen or something very similar to what you have been showing. Like, when you see a dinner plate, typically it is round in shape. And when you put in a fork or maybe a knife, whatever on the plate, it's well placed over there. But nowadays you go to some restaurants and you see very fancy shaped plates, like maybe it's a square or maybe it is something similar to a square. The EQ may be better because it's different and looks very nice. But what is happening, like when you are trying to put in a fork, it just topples over. So Absolutely. Now the toppling of the knife is basically a functional problem. But the EQ of the plate is very nice because I have liked the design of the plate. It emotionally connected with me. So suppose functionally if something is not good or it is having a problem, but as an emotional quotient it is good. So basically how do you balance the two?
Very interesting question. So what you're talking about What you're talking about is function and form. The form is of the plate, right? It's beautiful, it's a square plate, and but the function is not right. When you put the fork on it, it falls off. So function and form are cyclic in nature. You cannot take out form and keep it by itself and keep function on itself. So first, I'm functionally fine. If I'm functionally fine, it'll look ugly. So the cyclic nature of form and function has to be there. You cannot make something square and say, wow, it looks beautiful, but you put the fork and it's functionally bad. The experience is going to be bad. Let me tell you something about function and form. That's very close. It's taking the emotion of love. Do you all know the ring stands for love, right? How many people are married? Put your hands up, it's okay, it's okay. Do you know why the ring is cyclic in nature? It's circle. The ring is a circle. There are square rings that are failed, but there are circles. The ring is a circle. It'll always be a circle. Why? Hit the finger togetherness. Function. That's function, right? Of course, the finger is circular in nature. Function, but form. What's the emotional thing behind it? That's it. The Egyptians, before the Egyptians, the ring was designed by a cult called the Sumerisms. So we go very deep in our research. And let's stick to Egyptians because it's easy to relate to. And they believe that you have to be loved forever. The circle is the sign of eternity. You cannot go and tell your girlfriend or your wife, and I'm going to love you for only 5 minutes, or maybe 2 hours today, and then I'll love you for 4 hours tomorrow. No, it cannot happen, right? It has to be for eternity. That means you want to take love into the next realm. Not in this realm, but next realm also. And some of us might not want to do that, but that's the reason why it's in a circle. So that's the form and the function beautifully illustrated. And you make square rings, it just doesn't work. Any questions? Okay, we got a next question. Sorry. I think we'll do questions after this session because
we can take the questions after.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the session, Dean.